Hello and welcome to the Spartan podcast. My name is Bianca Hedgecock. I am the owner and founder of Eclectic Media. We are a bespoke digital marketing agency based here in the UK. On the Spartan podcast, you will find everything to do with entrepreneurship, business, fitness, biohacking, self-improvement, anything to make you a better you and improve your day-to-day life and your business. Each week we are going to have guests on speaking through how they got started, where they're looking to go, all of the hints and tips and tricks that they use to get to where they are today. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Hope you like it and make sure to subscribe. Hi guys, welcome back to the Spartan podcast. My name is Bianca Hedgecock. I am the founder of Eclectic Media. Today I am here with Felicity West, is a longtime friend of mine. She's the owner of FJ West Films and FJ West Weddings. She's a fantastic photographer and videographer and is currently submitting some films to the independent film festivals?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Amazing. So I'll hand over to you and just introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Thank you. Thank you for that amazing character reference for me. It's unusual that I hear myself spoken to about like that.
Yeah.
So I am Felicity West. And like you just said, I run two different companies side by side. One focuses purely just on weddings and the other is everything else really. But with a real passion and drive to move into the documentary side of things.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, like you said, I just submitted yesterday my first debut documentary to 3 separate short film festivals. So I'm excited and nervous about that, and also I'm not expecting anything. So we'll have to see. Have to wait and see.
That's where you start. You got to start putting the feelers out and putting it out there. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's been quite a journey really for myself. I never really knew what I wanted to do growing up. I just loved sport. Mad on football and athletics and anything in between that involved running or a ball or something like that.
Yeah, I was the same.
And then after having multiple different jobs, my CV is a bit of a zigzag of random stuff.
Yeah, no,
I think I can't remember now. I think I worked at STA Travel probably about 6 years ago, just because I had and also absolute passion for travel and still do.
Yeah, I was gonna say you started out with a lot of travel, didn't you?
Yeah, I went. It was 10 years ago now that I spent a year backpacking around Australia.
That's nuts.
Which was still probably one of the best years of my life. And then I guess back then I just sort of had a passion for photography. And
yeah, because I used to watch your YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh, it's quite dated now. I don't really make a lot, especially like vlog style. I dabbled a little bit, but that was as far as it went really, because if I didn't travel, I wasn't really inspired. So
yeah, but like your YouTube channel was what inspired me to get into photography, because obviously I started out doing photography before I moved into the sort of advertising side. And watching your travel vlogs were what made me want to do it as well. Like, for someone who'd never had any formal training, like they're good, like they're really good. And they made me want to go traveling. Like, and I've never been a massive travel like person anyways. I mean, I spent three months in New York, but that was it. Like watching you go around and see all these amazing places, it was incredible.
Thank you. Well, I'm all about the hitting the little heartstring, whenever I make a film, whether it's fun or exciting or an emotional thing like a speech at a wedding or something. Like, I'm always, even when I edit, sometimes I can even get a bit of a welled up and I'm like, oh, that worked, like that's good to go. So even like Australia, like it's so key, like with the music and the soundtrack I might add to a video. And I miss doing it. I think I've lost a bit of confidence, if I'm honest, filming that style, like camera in front of your face, walking around. That's not, I haven't really done that in probably about 4 years. But yeah, so now with YouTube, I just post certain client work that I'm able to share.
Yeah.
So it's still going. It's just a very much a slow burner as a channel.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff on there that's like shows, I guess, the progression, because the quality might not be there.
But that's part of the fun though, isn't it? Like, because I was obviously doing YouTube as well, like a year or so ago, and like it was all my fitness journey and stuff. But like, I threw in a couple of vlogs where we went to a gin factory with a couple of friends and stuff like, and that, looking back on it, is the fun part, like, to see that progression as you move forward and like watch your skills develop and actually be reminded of amazing things that you did and stuff. I think that's part of the charm of YouTube, should we say.
That's exactly why I started it. Just seriously, like my first thought was I want to capture these memories and have something to look back on in years to come when I'm old and wrinkly or whatever happens. And I have those memories that are so much more pure and raw because you hear people talk, you see things properly rather than just a few photos.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the main drive and still is my main drive for
Mhm.
making the content I do. It's just memories, purely selfish reasons, memories for my trips and so I can relive them anytime I want.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So take us back then. So obviously I know like you did other jobs and you worked at the travel agent. So how did you transition from traveling to like being a full-time photographer and videographer? Because that's a big jump.
Yeah, it's something that, like I said, like I fell into photography and video just through passion and exploring how it all works. And I've taught myself everything via YouTube tutorials and other people like that, but I've never been
Yeah.
to school or anything for this stuff. So I would when I went to STA Travel, I worked there for a whole year, and we'd have various suppliers coming in showing us different trips, you know, your backpackers, your clients could book, and they'd
Hmm.
always show us like a promotional video or a cool little segment of a trip or a hike up a mountain or something. And I used to sit there quietly in the meeting and just deep inside know that's what I want to do. Like one day I will make videos like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to sell flights forever. Like this is that. And I believed even then that I could do that because on the side at the time,
Hmm.
I was already beginning to shoot weddings.
Yeah. Didn't you shoot
Uh,
your friend's wedding? The first wedding you shot was your friend's wedding.
I had a couple of friends contact me, separate friends that in the same year just approached me to do their wedding, and I'd never even thought of a wedding before. I really hadn't.
Mm.
But it was someone. I'm someone that's usually kind of like just say yes if it feels right.
Yeah.
So I just took a deep breath and said yes, I'll do it. One was video and one was photos, and then once those two went, let's say, live on Facebook and stuff,
Hmm.
it literally never stopped, and people just started contacting me and friends of friends or friends, relatives, cousins, friends,
Yeah.
brothers, sisters, whatever, and it just kind of grew like a quick tree. And so I managed that as well as working at STA Travel at the same time.
Hmm.
But yeah, so it kind of started to get quite busy that I felt like if I put a lot of effort in, this could become something more permanent, like full time.
Yeah.
But I was still a bit scared. So I left STA Travel after a year, and then I worked. What did I do now? Oh yeah, then I went to work in business travel, purely just to have a bit of a pay rise, and that was traveling to Luton every day. So that's about on a good day a half an hour drive, but on
Hmm.
a usual day, which is normally a bad day with
Yeah.
traffic, was an hour's drive there and an hour's drive back for me, which I'll be honest with you, I absolutely hated to the core.
Yeah.
The only thing that was great was that it gave me a bit of time, and I would just daydream driving to work or sat in
Hmm.
traffic about the videos I wanted to make or what I wanted to be doing rather than
Yeah.
sat on the M1 in the rain, in the middle of winter, hating the fact that I was driving to an office that I didn't want to be in. Like the
Yeah.
people were lovely where I worked, but it just
Hmm.
wasn't fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
So that lasted not even a year, and I was already like leading towards sort of taking the jump, but then I still got scared, so I took a part-time job at a drive-in agency that gave truck drivers jobs like
Yeah.
temporarily. As you can imagine, that was even less fulfilling.
You mean you
And
didn't?
then I think I lasted like 7 weeks, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I just, I gave them notice, but I quit.
Hmm.
And I, I started full time on September the 1st, 2017. And it was like the whole world got the memo, and I just got so busy, and it just kept on going up. And then obviously COVID came along.
Good old COVID. Yeah, we'll get to that. Um, so when you like started out, obviously because like it started as a passion project for you, obviously because you loved photo and video, but like where did you learn the back end of the business side? Did you use YouTube? Did you use mentors? Like how did it work for you?
I think I must have learnt things backwards. Like I got quite busy before I was in, like things were in place that should have been in place.
Yeah.
Um, so it was kind of a playing catch up, and I I just learnt things mainly through YouTube or Google, or asking a certain few friends that may have had the answer. But
Yeah.
it's been quite a bit of a trial and error, to be honest with you. I now have found a bit of a setup that works for me and flows with even things like invoicing and accounts and all those things. I'm not very good with numbers.
Right.
That was probably like my worst subject at school. So something very clear and easy to use and colorful works well with my brain. If it's
Yeah.
just all numbers and spreadsheets, my brain goes into like,
Yeah. Excel's not your friend.
oh no. You need to send me those like what's it called? I don't know what it's called.
I don't
The
know.
thing that adds it up for you.
Calculators?
No, and on the Excel spreadsheets. Like
Oh yeah, so all of the formulas.
that's it.
Yeah.
Formulas. I couldn't think of the word. See, that's just how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, I can do the basics, but Excel is kind of like your best and your worst friend. Like, if you know what you're doing, it's the best thing that's ever invented, and it can hold so much data. But if you aren't familiar with formulas and all that stuff, you could break it at the touch of a button. It's so easy to mess up, and like you got macros and all of those kind of things in there. So, I mean, me personally, I run my entire business off of like the Google Suite, like the G Suite. Um, I use like Google Docs and all of that sort of stuff. And my P&L sheets on there. So like today I've sat down and done like my finances because it's beginning of the month. Should have done it yesterday. um, but like
I didn't do it at all, so
no.
well done.
But like it's so important to actually sit down and like take stock of your finances, because it's so easy to have little things that are a drain on your profits, at least. Even little things like little bits of software and stuff that you don't use anymore. Invoicing, or fees for merchant fees for taking card payments and things. Like, it's, if you don't know where all your money's going, it's easy for it all to disappear. So every month I sit down and do it. But like, do you have an accountant, or do you sit down and do it yourself every month, or like how does it work?
Well, I do it myself. I mean, my stuff's quite straightforward. Like, you pay for my service, like photography, video, film, whatever it might
Yeah.
be, and there's a standard invoicing and an expenses section. That's really it. It's nothing too complicated.
Yeah.
But my expenses is a pie chart, and it adds up like how much percentage of I've spent in certain areas. My Amazon section of that pie chart is ridiculous. It's like this.
Is that all equipment purchases?
Oh yeah, like let's say like this my little mic stand, like, oh, I could do with those, just simple little purchase, and it's just they all add up after a while.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I've had to slow my spending a lot in the last year just because of the pandemic. But normally I'm still at that stage where I'm still trying to I have good gear, but I'm trying to then get to the next level to then up my quality even more and just kind of keep going that way. So I've had to sort of just pull the brakes a little bit until things sort of return to a bit more of normality.
I know. Well, unfortunately, we don't know when that's going to be. But for you, you've still got things coming up, haven't you? Aren't you climbing Mount Kilimanjaro? Is it?
Oh yes, that's the plan. In October this year, I'm teaming up with a awesome charity in Ghana called Aquaba Volunteers. I've spent some time out in Ghana previously, and I've that was my first documentary was on these guys and the amazing work that they do.
Yes.
They are now attempting to climb Mount Kilimanjaro with an amazing group of people, and I'm going to attempt to climb the mountain as well as film the entire experience to create a documentary. I mean, I might have already bitten off more than I can chew. I might be more tired than I realise, but yeah, but I'm up for the challenge, and it's all for a great cause, and we're hoping to raise a lot more money to help the kids that they work with out in Accra that have literally next to nothing, bless them. So
Yeah, so I saw the documentary. Obviously, I did the donation and everything, and it was incredible. Actually, me and my other half ended up having an argument that night because she wanted to leave the country and go and help the kids, and I was like, "We've just watched one documentary. Calm down."
I'm glad it had that effect.
It really did, and that's what I mean. Like, it was incredible. Like, and to see the impact that just the smallest donations can make. And you didn't you raise like a good couple of grand for them with that documentary?
Yeah, well, the original plan was to run a local event here in the UK to show the film, like a bit of a sort of a cinema showing. And we had tickets available for the venue we managed to find. I think it was up to like 30 people or 40 people max. And it was going to be like snacks, drinks, have chats to people about volunteering, and then we watched the film. So we were hoping to raise a few £100. That was like the main goal and stuff. And then obviously, so I was starting to edit the film around February last year, and the event was due to happen in April. But obviously, due to lovely COVID, the event was cancelled. And so I still worked. Luckily, it almost gave me the gift of time to then crack on with it properly and get it done.
Yeah.
And we chose to launch it online, just to still show it and give people an option to see it whilst they are in lockdown and not having much to do. And it couldn't have worked out better if it tried, to be honest with you, because I forget the figures. I should have checked them before I came on here. But we had, I think it was like close to 1,000 people that signed up to watch the documentary in total, and that was from all over the world. People in like America, Australia, Canada, parts of Europe. Like everyone sort of kind of jumped onto it and signed up to watch the film at different times. And yeah, we raised about £2,500 in, I think it was like 2 weeks.
That's nuts.
So it worked out really, really, really well. And I know at the end I do say, like, you know, it changed my life and stuff. And it might sound cliche, but it is completely true.
Yeah.
The experience that you get out there is just, I don't know, hard to compare to anything else, really.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my other half has already been out there and done some sort of charity work and stuff as well. So when we saw that, we sat down and made it a proper, you know, premiere. We had our little snacks and we watched it. And literally at the end of it, for about 2 hours afterwards, we had an argument because she wanted to just up and leave the country and go back and help. And I was like, I don't think it quite works like that. She was in the middle of doing her final year of physiotherapy as well. I was like, you kind of got things you have to deal with first. But how did you even get into that position? Because like doing a premiere online is not an easy thing to do, especially like because you had like viewing times, and then you had to link it to your donation page. Like, how did you figure all that out?
Well, it was a bit of a, I don't know, it just kind of, I don't know how to start, really. I made the film and it was like, well, how do we get it out there? I didn't want to just post it to YouTube and just leave it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't have a lot of regular content going up. So there's not really much algorithm for myself to sort of catch on to. So I wanted to make it an event that people made the time to sit down and go, okay, it's 7 o'clock tonight. I've put my show in to watch the film.
Yeah.
Because we really wanted people to, just make that effort to sit down and watch it and not, I forgot, I'll get back to it in a few weeks, you know. So I created I did it all through my own website, to be fair, and created the showing times. And it was kind of, I was the bot behind the scenes doing it manually because I hadn't set up anything like MailChimp and those things then. So I literally was manually emailing everybody, copy and pasting like the links and stuff like that. So it was a full-on job, but it worked out really well. So
that's good.
And every time I got donations, it just kept me going and kept me pushing to make it happen how we did. So it was a great success, and the money's already been like being used to help the kids out there, which is so amazing to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you're not a big fan of like automation and delegation then?
Well, I'm a slow learner with that stuff. Like I'm learning to delegate the things that aren't super important, you know, like simple jobs that, you know, anyone could kind of sort of pick up and do.
Jobs, yeah.
But the more like personal touches to certain things, like my films or music choices, things like that, then I would find it very hard to pass that to somebody else.
I'm exactly the same. Like I have obviously a team, and we all sit within a Slack channel for communication, because obviously we're all dotted around the world. And when my clients like they message in the Slack channel, it takes everything of me not to just respond and actually let my team pick it up, because I'll be there forever, like trying to fill those gaps, and I then become the bottleneck, and you know, things start to not get done because there's only me doing it. So yeah, I mean, whenever I speak to people, like delegation or automation is like the best thing ever. Like to build systems and then stress test them, and then once you know they're running, just put them to the side and then carry on with the next one. It's like the best thing you could do. Like things like mailing lists. like things like MailerLite or MailChimp or GetResponse, all of that stuff is amazing. Like the links that you can create and the loops you can create from people either not opening the email or not clicking a link or something like that. Like it's something that you have to do to like keep in touch with your audience, but you just never have the time. So to create like automations and stuff is amazing.
Yeah, exactly your point. Like I have all these like ideas and visions of having those in place, but then like another month goes by and I'm like, oh, I still need to do that. Then when I go to do it, I've got to kind of like learn the system,
Yep.
or like you say, I should now start to delegate those sorts of things and pay someone else to do that for me.
Yeah, because I mean, like last time we spoke, obviously before COVID and whatnot, well, you were at the point where you were looking at potentially taking on a member of the team because you were that busy. Obviously,
Yeah, that's
COVID's
right.
come and kicked that in the butt, but um, like, would you have someone remotely? Like, have you ever worked with someone remotely, or would you have someone in house, like in your office? Like, how would you prefer to work?
It would be really cool to have someone in my office just to bounce off ideas and
Mhm.
like spin my chair around and talk to them and the other side of the room and get their opinion over my shoulder and vice versa and things like that. That would be like, I think the ultimate dream is to have like a partnership,
Mhm.
just to help with, I mean, the amount of times I get wedding bookings that I'm already booked for.
Yeah.
And then I'm lucky I have a few friends that are in the industry as well, that if they're free, they do, we kind of work together.
Mhm.
But it would be good to have them, somebody sort of a permanent employee as such
Yeah.
that works together on projects, because I've got some big ideas and big projects for the future that, as much as I'd maybe like it to be, I can't do it all on my own.
Yeah.
I'm realizing that there are some things that with the workload shared
Mhm.
produces a much better end result.
Yeah. Yeah.
um
100%.
so that's the hope. It's just a waiting game really
Yeah.
at the
Well,
moment.
it's good that you have strategic partnerships in place because obviously we have one in place for my e-commerce clients. You know, if they need photography done, you are our strategic partner to go to, and the same with any jobs that don't fit our agency, don't fit our niche. We have people that we can, share that load with. I think that in this climate, like having that kind of network is massive because one, you become a trusted source of information, but two, you can also create work for other people, which there isn't a lot of that going around at the moment.
No, exactly. It's really helpful, especially to have you on board and stuff, and any clients that need help with the social media side of things, because that isn't my strength at all. I can help create the content, but the
Yeah.
actual like knowledge of all the stuff that you know how to do is way over my head. It's basically maths times two. Um, then I can just direct them straight to you, and it's sort of they're trusting of that as well, because it's a recommendation from,
Yeah.
I guess, one professional to the other.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So that is really, really beneficial, and likewise for you to me.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I mean, some for me, what I sort of advise to people that I coach and stuff as well is that if you do have sort of these strategic networks in place, it just elevates your presence like within your arena because you then, like I said, become a hub of connections or information for people because we all work on social proof. It's the same with reviews on Amazon. We all go for the product that's got the most the most reviews and the best
Oh yeah,
rating.
Amazon choice. I
Yeah,
know.
exactly, because that's how we work with so and so's used it, I know that it's a good product or I know that it's safe. It's the same with recommendations and word of mouth. Word of mouth is probably one of the best forms of marketing you can get, and that
It's
purely
got
comes from good
Yeah,
service.
that's literally got me where I am today. Like weddings, especially.
Yeah.
I think in the last 5 years since I've done them, I think I must have booked probably only about 10 to 15 organic weddings that I had no clue who the people were. Whereas
Wow.
all the rest of them, and I think I've done around about 85 weddings now. So like that's a massive percentage that
Yeah.
was through recommendations or people that either knew that I just did them or
Hmm.
people that saw me at another wedding passed me on to other people. So
Yeah.
it's the best form of marketing for myself.
Yeah. 100%. Do you get testimonials from every client that you work with?
See, that's why I'm not very good at my job. Um, I do ask some clients.
Hmm.
You'd be surprised that there are quite a few people out there that you'll spend all this time in the world like putting their photos and videos together, and you're super happy with them, and you spend hours and hours on it, and you sort of nervously send it over and like really proud, and you'd be lucky if you get a response sometimes, or you might get a like, well, that's great, but like, did you not get like the seating chart, or it's like things like that so
Yeah.
it's I don't ask those people for testimonials normally, but the ones that are like, amazing flick, like,
Yeah.
love it, thanks so much, which to be fair happens quite a lot. I'm lucky. Then I will ask them to send me over one, but I need like an automated or
See, you're learning, look.
your highlight. I need to make a list here. All the things I've got to put in place.
You know what though? It's something that I recently put in place was a referral automation, which is just an email that goes out like every two months to my mailing list. And it just says like, we're so glad that we've got you on board. We're so glad that you're happy with the service. Would you mind providing us with a paragraph or a 1 to 2 minute video of just your experiences working with us? And you'll be surprised how powerful that is on social media, because it's all good me standing in, on my Instagram going, oh, we're great, I love my company. But like to hear it from people I've actually worked with, like, again, social proof, people trust that so much more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like, and it's so easy because it's free. Like you just ask them like, will you write a paragraph or send me a voice note, or record a quick video on your phone and shoot it over. But it just creates so much social proof for like marketing and just visual presence, because if you're in front of your ideal client, and let's be honest, if you're shooting weddings, for instance, everyone's your ideal client, someone's going to get married at some point. Like if you're constantly on top of mind, if they ever think, oh, I'm engaged now, I need to find a photographer, if they've seen you every day on social media, they're going to instantly think of you.
Yeah, exactly. You know what helps me as well is my color hair.
Yeah.
I think so.
Why? Because they remember.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess it's one good thing. But no, I definitely know what you mean. For me, it's like confidence though. Sometimes I'm doubting myself that I might get a really good testimonial, and then I'm like, oh no, I'll leave it. It's silly. It's that lack of confidence sometimes that creeps in there when people around you would not expect. But yeah.
But it's crazy that even though like you've been self-employed now for what, three years?
Well, yeah, 3.5 nearly.
3.5 years, and you still experience that level of like self-doubt
Every day.
I don't think anyone, like, obviously people always think, oh, they're so lucky, they work for themselves, but they don't understand the kind of courage you have to go out on your own, for one. But like most of the time, none of us know what we're doing. We had to figure it out. Like you said, YouTube, mentors, books, courses. We've all just taken the step to be committed to figuring it out. And I think
my motto at the start was fake it till you make it, and it's still true to this day.
Yeah, it's true, because I mean, I think someone said to me once, just say yes and figure out how to do it later.
As well. I've done that so many times. They're like, can you make this? This was like a while ago, but I don't know, a certain particular video or like animation or something. And I'd be like, yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
Well, I have no clue how to do that, but I believe in myself enough to know that I can learn it and figure it out and do it good enough for the client.
Yeah.
I would never take on anything like insanely stupid, but something that I know that, I could learn that. That will add some my knowledge for next time. And, one of those things. That's how I did. Yeah, I did a lot of my work, like interviews and stuff. Like I'm really fascinated by film and interviews. But no one's ever taught me, apart from a few online like YouTube videos where I've just questioned like lighting and like camera placement and things like that. But other than that, I've just said,
we'll do it.
Yeah, I can do this, and booked a few and filmed them. And when the client was happy, then that gave me more confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, especially when I first started out, I mean, we've spoke about this before, but I was so scared of like not getting it right, or people seeing me fail, when actually we never get ahead without failing. Like if you take it back to the very basics, like even learning to walk, like we took 2 steps, we fell over, we got up, we did it again. Like that's no different to any other skill that we ever try. Like driving, you get in the car, you try to pull off, you stall, you turn the engine off, and you start
Yeah.
again. Like it's such a stigma around failure, especially like with social media now, because even though it's my job, it can have such a detrimental effect on people if you're just seeing influencers who don't look like they've ever worked a day in their life, and they're sitting on the, you know, the sunbed in Dubai, and you're like, well, what am I doing wrong, you know? But what they don't realize is they started from somewhere, probably posting makeup tutorials every day, you know. um I think we've all got to just take that time to be okay with failing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, for me, like I said, confidence is always a thing there, but I think deep down, I'm happy with maybe the work I've done, but that still
Hmm.
doesn't mean that I believe everyone else will be happy with it. Um, but
But
yeah,
that's
like
what
you
you
say,
can do.
like,
You can only put out your best, like, and you can only provide your best. It's the same with me and my clients. I can only do so much,
yeah,
and I'm doing it to the best of my ability. And as long as we're honest about our ability, and we, you know, we believe we can do something, then I don't think they can ever be truly upset.
no, for me, I'll watch people's videos online and I'll sit there generally and think, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's cool. I could do that. And like, it might sound really big headed, but it's not. It's just like that belief of like,
Yeah.
you know, and I've proved to myself that it's true. I can, and I will look back at my videos now, even Second Chance, the documentary, and I will still pick out all the areas in it that I'm like, oh no, that doesn't sound good, or why is that too shaky? And like, I pick it apart just because it's like your own worst critic, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. But I think if we're not, then we wouldn't be at the standard that we are, because
No, I'm,
it's that criticalness that pushes us.
yeah, I'm nowhere near the top of that mountain. I think that top's never going to get reached really because things are always changing, and
Yeah.
I'm always wanting to learn new things and progress and grow even more. That, you know, if you just think, oh, I've got to the point now, let's just stay here, like,
Mhm.
like I
Yeah.
need to keep going and
Yeah, yeah.
improve on the video that I make next time. And
Well, this is it. I mean, if you think you know it all, then you've kind of lost at that point, because you're never going to improve. Everything's always evolving, like equipment, you know, softwares, all that stuff. And the ability that you can do, the things that you can do within those softwares, and the things that you can do with, you know, equipment, etc., is always going to be uh, pushed to its limits. So if you think, oh yeah, it's fine, I know how to take a photo, that's it. You've kind of lost. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's the same. Like obviously with us, we've got the iOS 14 marketing, iOS 14 update that's coming. That's going to affect the marketing. Um, but Facebook's figuring out how to fill the gaps with that. But that's, again, it's something that we have to adapt to. I think if we'd have just gone, oh, we know how to run ads, it's fine, then we'd be sunk. We'd be absolutely sunk. We'd have no chance of like catching up with that. And I
I
think
don't understand what you just said to me. iOS 14. That's like, what?
iPhone update.
Yeah, I guess that was what it was, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how it was going to affect things.
So the iOS 14 is basically going to put a barrier in place for people to accept um personalized marketing. So for the way the pixel fires, which again is probably more gibberish to you, but yeah, that's going to affect the way that we run ads and the data that we get back from that. But that's just something that we have to adapt to,
Ah.
which is the same as, like, you know, if you got a brand new camera, you have to learn to work it. You can't just say, oh yeah, I know how to, you know, take a picture.
Yeah, definitely. I like that though. I like learning new cameras.
Yeah. So what's the future for the two businesses? Are you going to break, like, obviously they've broken off into two now, so you've got FJ West Weddings and you've got FJ West Films. Would you build a team around the wedding side and concentrate more on the documentary filmmaking side, or where do you see it going now?
That's a very good question, and I don't have an exact answer for you yet. But the wedding stuff, it's I'm very lucky. Like I generally don't post hardly anything on social media. Only when I'm doing weddings, like
Mm,
before COVID, I would
yeah.
post very often or fairly often. You know, like the odd sort of nice photo or a little video, things like that. And
Mhm.
it just kind of just kept organically growing to the point it's where it is now. And I'm still getting inquiries for next year,
Mhm.
things like that. So um, yeah, I think building a team around weddings would be brilliant.
Mhm.
The other thing is with weddings that it's a kind of an industry where which I can't fault anyone for, but once you take on someone that wants to learn weddings,
Mhm.
they then want to go out and do it on their own. So
Yeah.
it's I
Yeah.
can't see myself managing to keep a team for a long time that
themselves.
doesn't want to branch out on their own, which I completely understand.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is I don't know, like I love weddings, but I also get to a point where I don't know, like it's sort of the same motions. There's nothing too crazy different about it. And my real passion that's starting to kind of like consume me is the documentary world.
Yep.
And that's where I feel like I test myself more. And I've got lots of ideas about a short series that I want to create, highlighting the sort of quiet heroes in this world. So people that are doing great things out there that may not have a light shone on them yet, and to promote what they're doing. So that's just an idea I've had for a long time that I would love to put in place. And maybe combine that with a podcast too. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's all a bit of a question mark. Obviously, we're still going in the right direction. It's just a case of when I get to that junction, I don't know which because I'm only one person, so I can't really do. I do always try and do too much, but I need to try and rein that in and hone in on more of a niche and see where that takes me. Who knows?
Amazing. Well, I think we'll leave it there because it's just getting about probably going on half an hour now. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. And if you want to give yourself a shout out, tell people where they can find you, and I'll link everything below.
Thanks, B. So if you want to follow along and see what I'm up to, we're on Facebook and Instagram. It's just FJ West Films, and website is fjwestfilms.com, and then exactly same for the weddings, fjwestweddings.com, and then FJ West Weddings on Facebook and Instagram too. So yeah, awesome. You can find us.
Where can people find your documentary?
It is now available on YouTube. And also on Vimeo and a cool documentary site called Think Shorts.
Nice.
So yeah, it's available now for free to watch anytime you like. And if you want information on Kilimanjaro as well, it's on my website, fjwestfilms.com.
Awesome. I'll link everything below for you, mate.
Thank you so much.